What's good, man? It's your boy Juicy J, man. Shout out to Virtual Homework Podcast.
Welcome, friends, family, observers from the beyond.
Hey, welcome
This
to the
is
Virtual Homework Podcast.
Homework Podcast.
Yeah, we're just doing a standard intro this time. Not going to do any gimmicks. Not going to go crazy with the sounds or the weird accusations. This is just another classic episode.
You're
of
not
Virtual
accusing me of like
What's a weird crime? I'm not accusing you of like stealing lobsters. Nice Seinfeld reference. I'm actually here to accuse you of something. I kind of lied on that.
what I do this time. I do something every time.
So, a couple weeks ago, we played the Wall-E movie game. And as part of that, we played the Wall-E movie game. And no, there's an extra part of this. Why am I struggling so much here? As part of that experience, I bestowed on both of us a gift. Okay? The gift of Wall-E on 4K DVD. And you would think that, hey, you have a friend and he's giving you a gracious gift. He's like, oh, he's spending his hard-earned money to buy me Wall-E on 4K DVD. I'm going to cancel my afternoon plans. He's showing the... Wow. Don't eat it. Don't bite it. Stop biting the Wall-E 4K DVD. You're going to need that, even though you don't have a 4K DVD player. How dare you? Anyway, you would think that when someone buys you a copy of Wall-E on 4K DVD, you would think, wow, I'm going to cancel my stupid WoW raid and stupid MapleStory raid and whatever things I do and consider fun in my own small life. That I would just say, you know what, tonight's Wall-E time, and I would watch that as soon as possible, even though I don't have a 4K DVD player, because I would figure out how to watch it digitally, and then I would watch it. But then, little did I know, I was actually left in a situation where not only was it not watched, but the idea of watching Wall-E was met with disgust on the end of Dana. So I don't really know where I stand. I'm going to keep asking about the Wall-E situation. We will see what happens from week to week, but I'm not really sure that we're going to get anywhere. It
Why
doesn't
are
seem
you
like
talking
we're
like
making
this?
Any progress. I'm just...
Which is like, you are just talking very slow. Today, we are talking about, like, you're like fucking Christopher Walken or whatever his fucking name, this whole intro.
Come on, guys. We need, that's like a standard stupid... Okay, anyway. I am just trying to remain calm because if I let my rage boil up about the Wall-E movie, there are going to be dire consequences for me. People are going to have very different opinions of me. So I just want to say...
I think you got some fucking deep-seated issues if you're that invested in the Wall-E movie.
I just want to say, if Dana doesn't watch Wall-E by next week...
Pick a day. Pick a time.
I will go fucking clinically insane.
This is a video game podcast.
Something I regret. This is a video game podcast. And what I want to say is that we played a video game this week. What did we play this week?
We played a game. We played a random NES game. Actually, it's not too random.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it random? Yeah, we'll continue.
For one, I own this game like on the NES, and two, it's one of my friends Rick's, one of his favorite games. And three, and I actually didn't know this before choosing this, it's on the Switch NES shop or whatever.
Yeah, I want to call it Virtual Console, but it's not the Virtual Console. And like, there's gonna be one guy who's like, "Excuse me, this is not the Virtual Console. You don't actually own your shit."
We played StarTropics, a RPG dungeon crawler, about as NES as it gets, as far as like crossing lots of different genres and games in one.
Yeah, so the thing about this game, I definitely don't want to say that it is random. Like, this is one of the... It's like, there's obviously like the top tier NES games. Oh, you got an NES? You play Super Mario Bros. 3 yet? You play Legend of Zelda yet? Like, there's that. And then like there's like the second tier where it's like, oh... Dad got me Mario, but he also got me this weird game, StarTropics. Like, it's a game that, like, a lot of people had. I think it had a relatively large cult following in a way, to the point where, like, it is one of the more well-known games on the system, but it's not what anyone would consider, like, in their top 10 most popular titles. So yeah, as he said, StarTropics is a genre-bending game. It starts off with like basically the extremely classic NES RPG, looking like Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, etc. Like every single RPG looks exactly the same, except for Mother. Mother, for some reason, has
it looks completely different.
Yeah.
This follows the story of Michael, who you're 15 years old. Your uncle's like, "Hey, come visit me on my random deserted island in my laboratory," and you're like, "Hey, that sounds like a good idea." You take a long fucking helicopter ride to Coral Sea or some shit,
something cola themed. Everything's cola themed.
Yeah, you're at like Sea Island or some shit, and then when you arrive, there's just, like all these shirtless fucking villagers. You're met by this fat guy with a mustache who's like, "Hey, I'm your uncle's friend. By the way, he's been abducted," and you gotta save him.
Yeah, so it follows an actual, like, there is definitely pretty plot heavy for an NES game. It has 8 chapters. How far did you get, actually?
I got to chapter 3 because this game is fucking hard.
I beat chapter 3, but chapter 3, looking at a guide, I'm sorry, is by far the longest chapter, and when you get past chapter 3, you're pretty much past the hump, and even though there are 8 chapters, getting past them is easier than chapter 3, because chapter 3 actually has, like, 3 individually difficult sections. I'm going to go back to what you're saying about this game being difficult. You would think, like, how is an RPG really that difficult when you think of RPGs? It's not. The actual gameplay, it's like a dungeon crawler sort of deal. It's very unique. You're basically jumping from
think of like Legend of Zelda almost, like how they do their dungeons, but like, I guess more isometric.
I wouldn't say isometric.
It's a weird way to... It's a weird way to. It's like its own thing almost.
This game is heavily unique, and I've never seen any other, like, it's almost like 2D top-down Prince of Persia. You're like jumping from like platform to platform, and that's like how the gameplay is done. Similar to maybe like if we really have to get into like what this game is similar to, instead of just like letting it be its own thing. Crypt of the Necrodancer, I guess. Like you're kind of trying to do things. I'm not gonna say it's musically based, but like you're kind of trying to do things on beat, get a rhythm going, trying to like dodge enemies while going in certain directions. Because when you're on these jumping platforms, your movement is heavily restricted to like platform to platform or up, down, left, right. I think that while this is a unique concept, the game is a little too frustrating for its own good. It suffers from the issues that a lot of these classic NES games have. One is just straight up, fake difficulty. I'm not even going to say it's like intentionally.
This has fake difficulty, or not necessarily fake difficulty. It's like stuff you can learn to get around, but it's like enemies that just fly out of water and hit you before you can react. Like if you know if they're coming, you can start attacking like a frame earlier and hit them twice, or just enemies that just go way too fast, like the snakes. I think those snakes are absolute bullshit.
There's enemies that are basically triggered, like when they see you, they start going like 95 miles an hour. I think that the enemies get more annoying as this game goes on, and neither of us are like halfway through the game, so what can we even say? It's probably going to get worse from there. But yeah, I when I think of like the actual difficulty that's frustrating in this game, it happens in a lot of NES games where, yes, there are these fake difficulty spots where basically blind things will kill you, but the main issue I have is how far back when you die you go.
Yeah, you go pretty far.
That's just like something that a lot of these older NES games have. But that and the fact that like this game offers very, very little in terms of life recovery. So you basically you die, and instead of getting all your hearts, you get half or a little bit less than half if you like gain extra hearts.
You get half, and then you go back to like a checkpoint, and then if you die 3 times, you go back to the beginning of the level, which can be like literally like 10-15 minutes like to get back to where you were, because you have to go through like waves of enemies. And then like my problem is I would like rush it, and then it's like, oh, I got stupidly killed because I missed a platform and I died. Okay, that's a life. Okay, I might as well just die another 2 times, get all my lives back, and like.
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely got stupidly killed in that way, but I think the game is... So the game does run on a... even though it's basically just kill a wave of enemies and then go to the next room and then, like, you either dodge the enemies or have to kill them again. Like, even though it seems like something that could be heavily influenced by RNG, like, things are where they are every single time. So, like, you can actually be rewarded pretty heavily when you're playing this game, and then actually, from there, reward yourself in like, a kind of speedrun sense. Like, I do know this game is a popular speed game. I've never seen the speedrun just because I'm generally not interested in games that I
was
haven't
actually surprised. The speedrun, like, the world record is, like, 1 hour and 4 minutes. Like, this is not a short game.
Well, yeah, the fact of the matter is, like, I got through chapter 3, but, like, I'm not going to say, like, I played this as much as some of the games on the podcast, but, like, I gave this, like, an actual try. I wasn't just, like, completely like blowing this game off until the last minute. Like, even though I only beat chapter 3,
I don't hate this game. I don't hate this game, but like,
I don't hate this game, but I think that it is much more mediocre than a lot of the people who say that's like it's one of the better NES games give it credit for. I maybe it's because like legitimately I think that now that I've played Mother is my favorite NES game, and I'm not going to say I'm like a huge Earthbound franchise nut. Like I didn't like Earthbound at all.
Those are
like,
just severely better games.
Yeah.
Like, for example, just like how you have to deal with enemies in these games is just very boring. It's like, all right, so there's bats that just go around, you just hit them, or there's blue mice that fly around in random directions and you can hit them, or like there's these snakes that go way too fast, or like the bosses, like the very first boss is literally terrible. It's probably one of the worst boss fights I've ever played in a game.
I was gonna say, I actually really like the boss fight so far. In fact, the second boss fight, even though it was relatively easy, like I thought it was pretty rewarding to like dodge and like and hit. I don't know.
Yeah, that stuff. I mean, like the first boss is literally like, all right, you stand on a middle platform, it shoots fire at you, you hit it once, all right, you jump to the left platform.
I think it's a little different when you're using. So this game offers the ability to use multiple weapons that some are reusable. In fact, like we'll get into this in a bit, but like some of the more overpowered stuff in this game is stuff that's really only in the manual. Like there are some like special weapons per dungeon that like it's hard to.
I couldn't figure out what stars were for, or like the jars of medicine.
You didn't read the manual? Oh my god!
I have like the manual open on my other screen.
It's like 40 pages.
Yeah,
it actually is one of the more extensive manuals. But yeah,
I like the art in it. The art in the manual is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I just feel this game basically is a worse version of there's a game
of
that,
every RPG.
Yeah, there's a game that does everything better than StarTropics, except for like the core jumping mechanic, because that's unique to this game. And I don't want to say that this is a bad game, but when I was playing it, I just felt it was lacking. And in fact, like it has some of the bad elements that you see in a lot. Like there's stuff that is improved, and then there's also contains stuff that I would consider like some of the worst parts of the NES library. Like for example, games like Ninja Gaiden, games like this, they heavily reward mashing when you're hitting an enemy with your yo-yo, because that's the power up you have. Another similarity to Mother. I assume this game came out before Mother. Mother is one of the later entries to the franchise. So I'm not going to say that it copied Mother in that regard.
Yeah, it's like if you can just get an extra frame on an enemy, it like makes all the difference, versus like otherwise you're just going to guaranteed get hit.
Yeah, or like there's like some weird rhythm where like it hypothetically, even if I'm like spamming, sometimes it'll like skip a move and then it'll get hit by the enemy like multiple times, because the iframes in this game are super short. But yeah, like I hate games that reward mashing. I hate games that send you back far. I hate games with like forced low lives and then you have to restart everything.
To be honest, this is one of those games that I could see it being like a great of the system if they just fix like a couple things.
Yeah, but like even without fixing a couple things, I think this game is still remembered very fondly. I think that especially if you have nostalgia for this game and look past those flaws, you could say like, hey, this game is just as good as X, Y, or Z on the system.
Yeah.
But the game is, for lack of a better term, absolute bullshit. Like I don't know how else to put it. So
So you did read the manual. What are the stars and like medicine things for?
Medicine, both of them have to do with recovering health. Medicine are items that you could use to actually like recover your health, but if you get 5 stars, you recover 1 heart. So they're basically a fifth of a heart. So
can I actually talk about some bullshit in this game? Did you ever like go into like a room where they had medicine, and then so this game has a lot of secrets where it's like you find like secret buttons and stuff to find like different rooms, stuff like that. There was one, it was like a secret room where it's like, oh man, there's like the medicine in here. But then I found another secret room into that one that had another thing of medicine in there. Then I found another secret room that you go into and you just die instantly.
Jesus. I mean, yeah, this game actually has so many secrets. Like, in fact, the I'm not sure how far you got in chapter 3, but the final world is like basically a labyrinth with a lot of false exits, and they like take you out of the dungeon, and you have to basically just do trial and error, because like you would have no idea without trial and error knowing where to go. But
I did not get that far.
Okay, so the game is probably obviously there are games back in the day that made you read the manual, because reading the manual wasn't something that like was assumed you wouldn't do. Like it wasn't until probably like the Xbox 360 era that developers probably had you stop reading the manual as like an assumption. Like most games from the retro era, like they cared about their manual because they knew that like they needed extra content to come with their game. But like obviously games have a varying degree of how useful the manual is. Like you have a game like Mario 1 or Mario 3 where like it's a pretty just you don't need the manual. The manual might help you understand what certain enemies do, but for the most part you could get through the game without actually having to read it. And then like there's the opposite end of the spectrum, which is basically like this game is literally impossible to beat without the manual. So I'm going to do some spoilers here, and I know that you also didn't get this far, but this is just like based on me trying to find out how to play this game. But this game it comes with a letter from your uncle, and you have to dip it in water to show a secret code to get past an area in World 8, which is unequivocally badass. You have to like do spy shit and literally dip part of like the manual in water to unlock a secret code in real life to enter in the game. And
it actually says on the manual, caution, do not taste, eat, or otherwise consume this paper. No, this leather is very important, so please hold on to it to the end of the game.
Yeah, so this was actually a controversy when this was released on Switch, in that there were later versions of this game that did not require you dipping the manual in water, but they like also like had like a puzzle on it that you were able to unlock with like clues from the game. But the Switch version did not include this one. It included the original note, so it was literally impossible to progress unless you looked it up on the internet how to get past that part.
Stupid.
It's stupid, but like it also is just understandable. I mean, it's stupid in that like if you're putting a game on the Nintendo Switch service, at least it's free for people who have the online. But like it's dumb that like this product is literally impossible to beat without outside help. But
it's like do you ever play Metal Gear Solid 1?
No.
So there's a part in that game. So there's a part in that game where you need to call a certain person on like your walkie-talkie, codec, whatever, and it's like, oh, the code is on the back of the CD case, and it's like literally the code to call the person is on the back of the CD case. Now I rented this game as a kid; they didn't give you a CD case, so I was just fucked because you couldn't look it up.
Yeah, you couldn't look it up. Like, and there's also a lot of video games for the PC that used to have like DRM in the manual too. It's like, oh, your key to actually get past this part is in the manual, and that's how we know you actually bought the game. But like even that aside, there are so many things in this game that if you don't have some sort of guide, maybe I'm not even like fair to say it's in the manual. There were actually some things that were explained in the manual that were like, for example, how to use special items. Like you have to hit the start button and then down to like go to the special weapon menu, which I wouldn't be able to do without like finding that out through like that's not something intuitive through gameplay. But
yeah, I kind of briefly mentioned this earlier. I'm actually like going more through like the booklet and stuff. Can we appreciate how much work was, like you said, was put into this? This is a beautiful manual with all like the different pictures, like literally every enemy in the game, like all like how it's all organized and everything like that. These are so cool. I wish they brought like this kind of stuff back.
No, I think that like, for example, Peebs is a SNES streamer. Actually, I think it just beat his 800th SNES game. He's trying to do the entire library, nice. And he's very, very close. But like he's doing a manual, SNESmanuals.com, every single SNES manual. He's trying to at least show some archival for it, because like a lot of these things you can't even find online. But like unrelated, like that's just unrelated. I just wanted to mention that. But like, yeah, manuals are dope. For anything like SNES era and before, I definitely try to read the manual while I'm playing the game, because it does contain a lot of useful information, A, and B, like they're cool.
To do that.
They're actually legitimately cool. But yeah, like I think that, I mean, now manuals, if they come with it, it's like a single page. It's like, buy our other game. It's like, okay, thank you for that.
I know I'm gushing over like the graphics and
the actual literal art. Yeah,
the actual art, but like the graphics in the game actually are pretty good. Like when it starts showing like some of the sprite work for like some of the individuals, they're extremely colorful and extremely cool looking. I think like it's very vibrant and very cool looking. I think the main character looks ugly. I think that the entire top-down RPG view looks really ugly, but yeah, the actual individual sprites for larger characters in general are better. Like the bosses, there's like this one Molten boss in World 3 that looks pretty cool. I think that they had some legitimate artists on this team. I think that this game has enough charm that I could see it really winning the hearts of a lot of people, but I don't know. Music and sound design I could give or take, though. There wasn't much.
It's very generic NES. Like it's passable. It does what it's supposed to do. There was like this one mysterious song that I liked, but it's
like there are like certain NES games that have like incredibly memorable soundtracks.
Yeah, you're playing Solstice. You're gonna be like, oh shit, this is the best thing. Yeah, it's literally a Rush song, but in solstice.
Yeah. So this game is all right. I could see someone say if they said this was their favorite game, I wouldn't like think any other way about it.
Yeah, I could see this game just being like 100% nostalgia goggle oriented. But like honestly, out of most of the games we've said like we're gonna come back to, I could just see I get like these frustrating games, these NES games. I often find myself coming back to them because I want to prove to myself that I could beat it, and I definitely think that at some point I will beat StarTropics. So I feel like the thing I think that is different with NES games versus a lot of the other games that we play is that the end is not insurmountable, especially when I just like know, oh, chapter 3 and there's 8 chapters. It's not as intimidating as like trying to go back and like literally get my bearings in Disco Elysium.
You can just pick up your fucking Switch and just like in bed, like just chilling, like, hey, let me play StarTropics for 20 minutes to see if I can get any farther, because there actually saves a lot. I'm not sure if it was like that for the original NES, but this saves a lot. There's a lot of checkpoints after each level and stuff like that that lets you save your progress to keep going on to the next
thing.
Like
so many saves that I like feel like they just figured out how saving technology on the NES. We're going to use it every dungeon, every single time you game over, and like, Jesus. But actually, that's a good point. I didn't play this on Switch. I actually used an NES emulator because I didn't feel like setting up my Switch, which is kind of ironic because the Switch is like the ultimate like lounge system.
You just log in and just.
I gotta get a new Joy-Con. My Joy-Con sucks so bad.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I guess mine aren't on it. I will say like the controls on the Switch were a little janky.
Well, so I was playing on Xbox controller. I think that this game honestly just has janky D-pad controls. I often found those games where like it requires utmost, like especially with the snakes when you wanted to trigger them but not hit them, like you're like tapping, like it's like you're trying to like go as little as possible.
I hate to say, I think this would be better on like an actual NES controller, to be honest.
Yeah, I could see that, but like I also just think that the D-pad is unresponsive in this game in general for like any D-pad, like especially because it's kind of like a grid-based system. Like you could only go in squares basically. It's not like you could go like diagonals. Because of that, like,
isn't there? What's that one fucking marble game for the NES? It reminds me of that. Like,
Marble Mania, like Marble Madness.
There's like some marble game that there's like it's all like grid. It reminds me of that kind of.
Okay, it's Marble Madness. Oh my god, but yeah, I think this game just doesn't have that good of controls. I mean, like they work. This is not like a platformer. Like it's a platformer, but it's not like a precision-based platformer.
Yeah, it's like a platformer RPG. It's kind of almost reminds me of the like 2D 3D levels in Contra.
Never played a Contra game.
Oh, whoa, dude, yeah.
That's actually not true. Every single time I've tried to play Contra, I'm just not into it. It's the gun. You add a gun to a video game where like automatically it's low tier. Except Shadow Complex is pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shadow Complex is pretty good.
Yeah, I would like. It makes me not interested from the start. Like if I'm forced to play it, I could overcome the gun, but
so I gave this game if you're nostalgic for it, play it. If not, then maybe play it for free on the Switch. Otherwise, it's a whatever out of 10.
I'm gonna give this game a GIF from the movie Mad Max Fury Road, where it's the guy and he says mediocre, and then he throws the guy off the train. Out of 10.
What?
Oh, you never seen that?
No.
Okay. Well, very good movie. But what else we got?
Do you have any actual topics this week?
Twitch is banned in Slovakia due to gambling laws.
Woo. There's like the whole gambling meta on Twitch is kind of like.
I watched a new Carl Jobs video on Dream that's an hour and 15 minutes long.
Is it actually interesting?
I would say you would. So I watched it on 2x, but it was mainly because there was a massive thread on speedrun.com about it. So it makes me a little bit more sympathetic to Dream, even though like everything regarding Dream was not due to the like. I think you're a idiot dickhead if you do cheat, but like it's one thing to cheat, and then there's other like. Everything that I had issue with Dream, or at least 95% of it, was his actions after being caught. Like just being a general douchebag. And it doesn't really exonerate him on that. In fact, like it kind of doubles down and says like, hey, you were kind of a massive asshole. And it seems like he's actually done some steps to resolve it. I mean, like he literally also, unrelated, like it's really hard to trash a person who raises $150,000 for charity, which he did today. So it's like, oh, I feel like a little awkward just trashing this man. But no, it actually did... it does make a more sympathetic case to the fact that he may have accidentally cheated. But while it was technically not, like, what it's basically saying is that there is a legitimate case that he did not know at the time of his runs that he was cheating. However, it's kind of like someone actually did a metaphor, I think, in our speedrun that's really similar. It's a really good way to explain it. There are probably times in a kid's life where he accidentally stole a candy bar from like a CVS or something like that. But as soon as someone asks you, hey, did you steal that candy bar? And you say no, even though you didn't steal it, by omitting the fact that you like accidentally did it, you're officially owning that crime you did. And that's kind of like something similar to what Dream did. Like, he may have actually had a legitimate case due to the fact that he did, like, there's a difference between mods that are done server side and client side. I'm not going to get into it because, I mean, honestly, like, I should be more of an expert based on how much we talked about this, but I am not an expert on this. But given...
Well, no, I think this is interesting to hear. Like, I didn't actually see the thread on our speedrun, and I imagine since you're the mod of a mod, you're seeing a lot more of this information in depth and conversation surrounding it. So.
Well, I think that honestly, like, half the people in the R speedrun thread have not watched the video or only watched the first 5 minutes and said it was bullshit because, like, they didn't actually listen to the point said. But even if, like, so there are mods that are done client side and server side, and based on how he was playing and like, apparently the creator of his mod, like, he was in some way legitimized to say that, like, oh, I didn't actually cheat. However, the fact that, like, even after extensive evidence and the fact that he had used mods in the past, like, that this idea was so out there that he had to, like, lash out in the way he did, he kind of basically, he took actions that are really inconsolable. And I think that's where it stands. I would say it is an interesting video. If you have an hour to spare, which I know a lot of people don't.
I actually, like, that's like a video I watch while I'm like playing like MapleStory or something like that. Like, I'm probably going to watch that almost immediately after the podcast because it's on my list of things to do. So, because I think, like you said, most people agree it's not like the cheating itself, like cheating happens. It's how he handled it afterwards, how he went after people, you know, that kind of stuff, weaponized his community, intentional or not.
They're going to show it on those cows in the prairie on the VR headsets. The Carl Jobst Dream video.
Didn't we talk about that last week?
We did, but I just wanted to... I confirmed multiple articles, because, like, I originally just, like, said that off of a tweet, and you're like, that can't be real. It's real.
They're, like, actually putting VR on cows?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, they're just playing them hardcore-ass fucking porn.
Or they're... I mean, like... Maybe they're,
it's just,
getting...
like ultra-violence, just, like, hardcore
Well, yeah,
gore.
I was thinking, like Pain Olympics, 2 girls, 1 cup...
like 24/7 and like the cows.
Well, no, what I'm trying to say is that they're trying to gear up the cows to maybe like, you know what, this tiny cell that my entire life is, maybe it's better than the outside world, because they're going to be able to determine that's the outside world if they don't already realize they're wearing a VR headset. So they got
kind of like, it's pretty. That's like straight up dystopian though.
That's,
like,
well, yeah, I mean, like, the actual thing is dystopian. It would be nightmare fuel if they were showing gore to cows. Like, I'm trying to imagine the implications of that. Like you just
like hundreds of cows just like with VR headsets, just like hardcore gore. Do you think they could process it, or
I whatever they process would be very sad. But I'm just like imagining me like just like logging into Reddit, seeing like someone r/news. Yeah, they've been showing gore to cows for like 10 years. Like that. What is the? I'd be like, whoa, no. Like, really, I would probably.
Whoa, no.
I wouldn't know.
That totally sucks, dude.
I wouldn't know how to process it. I mean, I guess I don't eat red meat for a reason, but I don't think that's.
Do you think it makes it taste better?
What, the gore? In this hypothetical scenario? I really think that this goes into a very special topic I know to you regarding certain people in France and how you should not cancel them because of their terrible
No,
actions.
I got even better topic. This is something I was sitting in the car, not like steaming about, but like just sitting there thinking about for an extended amount of time. And this is something I have brought up on the podcast multiple times, but I love Arby's. Fuck people that hate on Arby's.
All right. I have nothing to add to this. What else is there?
I was sorry. I was like in the car the other day, like, fuck, like, man, people piss me off so much, the Arby's. I love that place. They have new chicken nuggets. They're so good.
All right.
I had Popeyes today.
Oh, what? That's like the betrayal of the century.
Have you ever had Starbucks black tea? It's pretty good.
I mean, if I'm getting tea, I'm just brewing my own. It's one thing because I mean, like I don't have a coffee. Well, I do actually have a coffee machine now, but it's not for me. It's for Angela. But even then, like making coffee is one thing. It's slightly harder than making tea. Making tea is easy. Especially, do you have like an electric kettle?
No,
you don't. It's like $30 and it boils water in like 5 seconds.
But can't I just boil water on the stove?
No, but like you have to get out like a pot, and then you have to like.
But okay, then I have to get out an electric kettle. What's the difference?
No, okay. The electric kettle, I think when you see an electric kettle, it makes a lot more sense. Like, it doesn't actually go on a stovetop. It just kind of, like, exists as a thing on your counter. There, I sent you one.
So what's the difference between putting something on your counter or on your stovetop?
No, because, like, first of all, I think you underestimate how long it takes for water to boil on the stove versus an electric kettle. An electric kettle, it's super cheap. And, like, the water will be boiling in, like, a minute or two. Like, unless you're putting water on the stove at, like, max, and, like, you also have, like, some, like, weird induction oven. Like, it's going to take a very long time. Maybe not a very long time.
So, my whole thing when I am boiling water, I don't want it to be super fast, because boiling water is, like, one of those things. I'm like, all right, I'm going to put some water on, and then I go to some, like, other shit for, like,
Then you just, minutes. Like, start playing CSGO surfing, and then, like, you've been boiling water for 8 hours, and, like, your house is burning down.
Speaking of which, I gotta turn off my game.
Oh, my God.
I wasn't playing,
I had to turn off my oven. Jesus.
No.
I'll take that. That's slightly better.
What was I talking about? We're talking about
how you like your water boiling at inefficient speeds.
Yeah, because I don't need it right, like, this second. Like, I mean, I guess if I, like, got used to having it in, like, a minute, but that's, like, waiting, like, a minute then. It's like, am I just gonna stand there, like...
Well, like, you can still do other... You're not just boiling water to boil water. I feel like the assumption is you're boiling water for something. So it's like, you're not just going to, like, boil water then have to wait there a minute. You're able to do other things. Unless you're really weird, like, and just love boiling water.
Well, no, so it's like I'm boiling water to make tea or something like that, right? So let's say that takes a minute and a half, right? So that for that minute and a half, that's not enough time to go do something. So I basically have to sit there with my dick in my hand for a minute and a half versus if I just put a pot on the stove, kettle on the stove, I can go do a whole bunch of other shit. It's efficiency.
This is such a dumb argument. First of all, I feel like you can just take out stuff. It's a minute. It's literally, you can't argue that something taking less time makes it worse. You just can't, unless it's like, I don't know, less time to live.
I mean, it's efficiency, though. It's like...
It's not, because it's efficient for it to go fast.
But I can't do other things while it's going fast.
You can, though.
What can I do? What can I do?
You could take out the tea. You boil
I already
the
have
water,
the tea out. I already have the tea out.
Then you just change your process so you don't have it already out. Why would you take it out, knowing full well you have a minute to get out your cup, get out your tea, get out your little
this is
tea
like
strainer?
I don't know. I just feel like I could get other things done that are non-related to this task.
I feel like you just don't understand the way. Like, I feel like you just like boiling water because it enables your laziness. You could just go back and play video games.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna do this because I can't just like keep buying you random shit. It just gets weird to a certain point. But like, I really wish I could ruin boiling water for you.
Please stop
$25.
buying me stuff. I have like so many appliances on my like counter. It's like unreal. I need like a fucking
To clarify,
microwave.
I did not just keep buying you appliances. I may or may not have bought you one appliance, which is already weird. That's like,
let me tell you, I use that more than like anything anyone has ever given me in my life.
Well,
so
rice cookers are cool. Okay, we're getting deep into the lore. It's kind of I don't want to talk about, except for Wally. I don't want to talk about anything that I've purchased for my friends. Okay, this is a private podcast.
Do you want to watch Wally after this?
Maybe for 4th of July, for America's birthday.
I work 4th of July for some reason.
If I was a very, very smart entrepreneur, I would like make not American flag, but like country flag trading cards. It's like, I play America. 10 offense. America would just be stacked just because their military is so insane. I mean, like, you'd just be like, I play...
This would be like the worst card game ever. You're like, oh, I play fucking...
Lesotho?
Yeah, like, I play Somalia. It's like, I die. Like, oh, cool game, bro. You just play America and win.
And then you have like the power of cryptocurrency on your side.
Yeah, what the fuck does that do when you have nukes? You're just like Russia. Like, I just nuke, I win.
Yeah, but
I just can't figure out the balance of this game.
I just don't think you see my vision here. It's gonna happen.
I mean, you got to write up a rule set. See, I come from a gaming background, so I'm thinking of the actual logistics. You just threw it out there as like a bit, as like a joke or something. Like, oh, America plus 10 defense. Like, this would not work in a gaming sense. Has to make sense, otherwise people will not play it.
Well, like, okay, so like all these cards, they have their own allies, right? Like if you play the Germany card,
who's allied with Somalia?
Well, Somalia some cards are better than others. Like it could be like you have to like get rid of your cards and somehow get rid of your cards. It's like, we gotta eviscerate Somalia off the map. And then it's done. Then I get sued and then canceled.
I'm sorry, just where this started and where it went.
Oh, no.
How did this conversation start? I was talking about that stupid ruined the Tour de France or whatever.
Yeah, okay, so explain to me again where this is coming from, because
so
I know you
basically
had a lot of anger.
So basically what happened was, it was like the first day of the Tour de France. For those who don't know, Tour de France is like a huge ass cycling race.
And
it's
Dana
like people...
is actually, like, I don't know if you're probably not involved in like any professional cycling, but you are passionate in that you like to bike.
I do like to bike, but I don't know anything other than anything like surface level about this.
He likes to ring his bell on his tricycle when he's going down his street. Yeah. I'm sorry, I derail you like every single sentence.
Let me explain what the fuck is going on. The fucking Tour de France is like this multi-day or week, I don't know how long it is, race of multiple stages across almost all of France. People train their entire lives for this. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars preparing for this, getting bikes, teams, all this stuff together. So the first day of this, I mean, this, like I said, hundreds of millions of dollars invested in this shit. 45 kilometers left on the first day. This woman jumps out into the middle of the fucking road with like everyone, all the front runners, all like the best people, about like, 150 people, all like in a huge group, and like holds a sign up like not realizing the people are behind him, and they run into her, causing a huge crash with like everybody like getting injured, breaking bones, like basically ruining their chances.
Think those like NASCAR pileups, but with bikes and people on them.
Yeah, like basically like some of these people, their careers are straight up ruined now because of this woman. And everyone, like, my whole thing is on Reddit, everyone's like, "Oh, I would feel so bad for her. She made a little mistake, and people are going after her." And it's like,
though, right? Like 90% of the people are like, this person deserves to like rot in prison.
No, not really at all.
I 100% I'm gonna just like straight up say that what you were saying are false. There are people that are heavily upvoted now saying, hey, they did make a mistake. They obviously didn't have these intentions. Maybe we're going a little too hard on her, but that was literally in response to the fact that people are saying like, this is the worst human alive. Like, did you not see this when it was like actually like the day it happened? People were absolutely tearing into her.
I'm saying that people comments. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the most upvoted comments now are like, "Oh my god, I feel so bad for her. People are attacking her," and it's like, she ruined the lives of like and careers of like 100 people. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, people make mistakes. Like, sometimes you just run over a child. Like, oopsie doopsie. Like,
yeah, but like, it's different, right? There's one thing.
Well, no.
There's one thing, like, for example, like, there was actually
you can't be immune to
podcaster.
Fucking... Yeah, it's not like you can, I made an accident, so, oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's like, okay, I'm not in trouble now, right? No, it's like, if you make a mistake, like, you still get to get punished for it.
I mean, I do legitimately think that, like, the mistake she made was not as bad. Like, I don't think she deserves the gulag, as my co-host says here.
No.
No, she got, like, a $1,500 fine, and she's probably going to be sued by the organization that runs Tour de France.
Yeah, and I feel like they have every right to, because literally these people spend hundreds of millions of dollars for these riders to get them ready, and some of them, breaking bones, stuff like that, that's going to set them back like 6-7 years, like, or they could never ride again, or like, this is literally career ruining for some people.
Yeah, no, I think that there are definitely consequences for actions, but I also don't think that, I think that, like, especially on the internet, hashtag cancel culture. No, I think on the internet, like, people absolutely go for the drug dealer. I think that she's going to pay her dues, and she is probably going to have a pretty hectic couple of years ahead of her. I mean, like, she did, like, hypothetically, if I went to a museum and, like, accidentally tripped, and then I fell into a painting, and I don't know, broke the Mona Lisa. Like, I probably would face consequences for destroying art.
The difference between that is that you wouldn't be affecting and ruining the careers of 100 other people.
I don't know. I think I'd be affecting a lot of people if I literally destroyed the most.
I'm talking about directly the individual lives of people. Like,
yeah, but at the same time, I don't think. I think due to the fact that there was no malice involved, I think that it is a little bit easier to not completely
I don't
go
know.
for the jugular.
I don't have fucking sympathy for stupid ass fucking people.
No,
they're stupid and they didn't have bad intentions, so they get off free. It's like, no, like people need to learn not to be stupid.
You're saying a straw man here that no one is arguing. I'm not saying they should go off free. I think they should suffer from consequences, but I think that there is definitely difference in actions caused by stupidity more than malice. Like, I think that if someone, like, the fact that she was even able to get on there, you said middle of the street, she was basically what you would consider,
like, on the side of the street.
Yeah,
I was being a little hyperbolic.
Like hypothetically, if where a bike lane would be, but there was no bike lane, like, definitely on the street, but like, it was definitely unavoidable, but it wasn't like she was so far, like, she basically took a couple steps forward from where people were.
No. She made a point to go out into the street to put this sign up so people could see her.
I understand that, but like,
she made the point to go off, past the boundaries, past everything into the raceway. There's like a side of the, like, boundary off the raceway. Like,
yeah, no, I like, but I don't think we're when you have a person do slightly more than what other people. First of all, I'm not sure if you've seen like footage with like absolutely crazy Tour de France fans. Like,
absolutely.
She is like, all these people are like, what she's doing is not like unprecedented behavior, and the fact is, like, she was just the one that was like unlucky enough that it actually had dire consequences. This could have happened like in any of these races in the past 5 years.
Absolutely.
I'm not one of these people that says Tour de France should be responsible and say that, like, oh, you have to guard every single part of this, like, what is it, 400-mile race?
So my mentality on that is, like, there can be 100 people that commit a crime, but if someone gets hurt, it doesn't make it any less bad because everyone else is doing it too. You know what I mean?
Well, I definitely, like, I see where you're coming from, but I also think that if something is relatively normalized, and I'm not going to say like her behavior was entirely normalized, but to the point where, like, I don't think she was the one who, like, had this idea, I'm going to do something crazy. It's like, oh, people do this all the time. Like, I do think that intentions do matter. That's why, like, I don't think this is, like, similar. Like, if someone, like, accidentally, like, kills someone with drunk driving, like, the intentions of, like, when you drunk drive, you are very intentionally putting people's lives at stake. I don't think this is in the same category.
I mean, like I said, I was being extremely
disagree.
hyperbolic. I was being extremely hyperbolic as far as, like, the murdering people, but it's just like, I don't know. I deal with stupid people all fucking day, and it's just like, I feel like there should be some type of repercussion for doing stupid things without thinking. It's not like, oh, you commit a crime, but I wasn't thinking that it was a crime, so it's like you get off or easier or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, well,
I think that she is going to pay a pretty tough consequence, all things considered, and not just her, what is it, like $1,500 fine for
I agree. I was more so just commenting on the fact that people are like, oh my god, I feel so bad for her. Nothing should happen. She barely even did anything wrong. Like, who cares?
I think now that their identity is known, it's going to be like Steve Bartman, where the rest of their life is destroyed. For those who don't know, Steve Bartman caught a foul ball in like 2003, and like they had to move because apparently people blame him for the Cubs not winning the World Series.
Yeah, the Cubs winning.
That's like we're both from Chicago, so like that's pretty deep cut.
We know about that.
But yeah, I genuinely think this lady's life is ruined, even though the actual immediate consequences are more manageable.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, you're saying eye for an eye, but I think it's the internet hate mob. Hashtag woke.
I guess I just have.
I said hashtag woke.
I just couldn't imagine working my entire life for something and then having some stupid person ruining it and having my career ruined, having everything I worked towards like my entire life just go for nothing. So
I have never made a mistake nearly that stupid in my life, but I could also see myself just doing something I think being fun, it having significantly more dire consequences than I expected, and then just being like, oh, it's. Yep, my life's over. I could empathize with that, but I also is it impossible to like say I see where all sides are coming from? Is nuance not something that could be like given in today's world?
I completely agree. I'm just one of those people that, like, I don't know. It just pisses me off.
Probably because you're training for the Tour de France, so you know how it is.
Well, it's just like it's just completely. Of course, and on top of it being something completely unnecessary, you know, and it's just like.
I want to see you in the Tour de France.
I hate sports fans in general. Like, so I fucking hate sports. Like, I hate people like, oh, you like the red fucking assholes. Well, I like the blue assholes. And then you fight and like kill each other, like in real life.
Imagine a sports team called the Assholes.
The blue assholes or the red assholes?
No, just the because
you have to pick one, or I'm going to end this.
I literally just watched The Matrix, like the entire trilogy, like a couple days ago. So I'm gonna say, based and red pilled. You know, we're gonna go Gamergate on the pod.
We're going suppository on this.
Oh God, yeah, no. I guess the red pill just because I like The Matrix, but I'm not like one of those. It's like I was watching The Matrix the other day. Like I watched all 3 movies, and the issue with The Matrix is that like it's
the original is good and the second one.
No, actually, so I think that I agree that the original is by far the best, but I do think that 2 and 3 get a lot of flack. I think that watching them today, and I guess the expectations on an audience, like I think it was just like too smart for audiences in the year 2000. Like I think that people are willing to accept more cerebral plots, like things that you really have to understand. Like there wasn't a wiki for every single thing in the year 2000. Right now I could just go on the Matrix wiki and I could be like, oh, what did that fucking jargon that the architect said that I didn't understand?
Well, it's just like going back to like the game we played, fucking StarTropics. It's like if I don't understand something about a game or like why like a character does something or this, I can like look up like 100 pages of lore on why that is nowadays versus like back in the day you're just kind of like, what?
Yeah, or like I start watching a clip on The Matrix, and it's like 8 different YouTube channels that are dedicated entirely to the Matrix lore. It's like,
Matrix,
okay.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
actually, I did end up watching a video by a guy whose entire channel is dedicated to The Matrix. I think he's called like The Matrix Explained or something like that. But
did you ever watch the Animatrix?
I haven't. I've only seen the original trilogy. I know there's also comics and stuff. That's too much for me. I already
You should watch the Animatrix. It's like the animated like.
I'm aware. Like I remember, I really wanted to watch it when it came out.
Just a movie.
Yeah,
it's just a movie. It's really
a bunch
fucking
of short vignettes, right?
Yeah, you should. If you like The Matrix, you would really, really, really like.
When I was much more into anime, I was like super hyped to see it, and then like I wasn't able to watch it for some reason, and then it just like didn't happen. But like, no, what I was trying to say is that like the problem with The Matrix is not that the second and third movies suck. Honestly, I think that the action sequences in 2 are better than in the first one. It's actually kind of that highway scene. Come on, you can't deny the power of.
I think as I've gotten older, I've been able just to appreciate things for just being like cool and badass. Like you could say like, oh, the story this, story that, plot this, but like I've had some cool fucking fight scenes. Like that's what I remember the most.
Yeah, considering you love like old school like action movies like with Jackie Chan, you should watch John Wick. I think you'd enjoy it. But
I haven't seen it. Everyone says it's super cool.
Yeah, if you just like action sequences, you'd be a fan. I mean, like that's like what people think of like what is a spiritual successor to The Matrix. They actually have a lot of same actors, and it's just like a bunch of cool kung fu sequences. But what I'm trying to say is that speaking of idiots, just like every single comment. So the fun thing is when you own. So I'm not sure. Did you ever redeem your Wall-E code that came with the movie Wall-E that I told you to do?
I did not know
why. You're just making yourself seem like a bigger piece of shit every single day. So the thing is, like, I for those who like this is okay. You're whatever. I understand you were forced Wall-E upon you. You're rejecting the idea, but no. One of the best kept secrets.
It's like a religion at this point.
Yeah, the Church of Wall-E. I mean, like kinda. It's kind of like a Jesus.
You're just like, did you pray to your Lord and Savior Wall-E this week? Like every single week for the rest of my life?
I'm gonna ask you if you've seen Wall-E until you watch Wall-E. I hope you know that. Every week.
We're gonna watch it together.
I hope so. Otherwise, you're gonna get Wall-E'd. But no, one of the best kept secrets in like entertainment right now is like there is. What does it mean to get Wall-E'd? What was that? Was that a threat? What does that mean?
Like did you see my reaction? I was just like, what? Like, a bitch, get Wall-E'd. Like,
yeah.
Urban Dictionary right now. Hold on. I know you're going into something serious. This isn't funny. This sucks. We're not. We're done.
Okay.
Continue what you were saying.
Disappointing Urban Dictionary entry. But like, there are 2. Well, okay. The first best kept secret in media is that when you like buy a DVD now, you get a lot more than the DVD, and that you get a code for something called Movies Anywhere, which hooks up to like all the different media players, and you're actually able to watch the movie digitally along with physically on pretty much anything. Like hypothetically, if you put this code into like Movies Anywhere, you get to watch it on like Amazon, you get to watch it on YouTube, you get to watch it on like a bunch of all these like streaming services.
Oh, shit.
So like it's not terrible to buy, because like DVDs, let's be honest, like no one gives a shit about DVDs anymore except for
So is it kind of like you ever watch like go to like southparkstudios.com and it's like, oh, log into your provider, whether it's like Hulu or Comcast or AT&T, and then you can like watch it? Is it kind of like that? Or
it's less that and more like you ever go on Amazon and it's like, oh, you want to watch this movie, it's going to cost you $15 and you own it. Yeah, so it's like that, except you buy the physical copy and it comes with that thing that costs $15. So like,
but you can use it just like on like every service.
No, so like you redeem it once anywhere. It's on Amazon. You don't have to choose the service. It's like on all these different platforms. So like if you have a little slip that if you redeem that and then hook up your Amazon account and like YouTube and stuff, like you have a permanent digital copy that goes in all these places.
So it's do you have like your own little library for it?
I do. I have a library of movies on like all these different platforms.
Not like you specifically, but like any one person. So if let's say I buy a Blu-ray and I have like I put those code-ins for all my Blu-rays. Like, I can just look at them.
You have
all,
a
like,
Movies Anywhere account. This sounds like a straight-up ad, but no, I actually really enjoy it.
Well, no, that sounds fucking dope.
Yeah, no, so, like, I have a digital media library that, like, literally is my physical media library. It's just, like, it's the same thing. They just, like, it has its own online place. But
so you can be, like, on your phone, like...
Yeah, no, like, that's the second best-kept secret, is that YouTube as a platform is actually really good for these. So it's on Movies Anywhere. So like anything that's on my movies library is on YouTube. So first of all, if I'm in bed, I could actually just watch the straight up movie on YouTube because it's like in my YouTube library.
I've actually watched a couple movies on YouTube. Like their movie service, sometimes they have random free movies, isn't terrible.
But no, like the actual like second best kept secret in all this is that if you watch a movie on YouTube, it has a comment section like a normal YouTube video. So like people are like actually making comments. And obviously everyone's an idiot on YouTube comments, but like it's basically the YouTube comment section on a movie, which actually can be really fun because it's like a lot of movies you like. I don't think you're wondering, I wonder what YouTube comments would have to say about this, but it's like, it's YouTube comments on this movie. I guess like it is quite literally this, and it's kind of fun to look at. But no, the issue on all the Matrix movies are like, The Matrix was a documentary. Wow, Neo is so based and red-pilled. And I'm like, oh, God, I forgot this movie was like, co-opted by white supremacists. So, yeah, that's the problem. That's all I wanted to say.
No, I think that's really cool. I think I brought up on a previous podcast how it would be cool to like Netflix, but with like a chat room as you're watching
actually,
a movie.
I think that was actually last week. So it's similar, I guess. It's not live, but...
I'm gonna have to check it out I would see what the Wall-E fandom has to say about.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the Wall-E YouTube comments. It's probably like some emotional shit. It's like this movie changed my life.
Like Wall-E has a fat cock.
Wall-E dripping oil from his cylinder can dick, pre-oil.
You took that too far. I was just making a joke.
You took it too far like 4 times ago when you're vividly talking about Wall-E penetrating that other main character.
I don't think the other main character.
The Eve, you wouldn't know that because I don't think anyone explained who they were during the plot to the video game.
No,
Eve was the white robot, not racist, like literally, quite literally white.
The white robot. Why do you got to say that's not racist? Why can't it just be? Why you got to make it weird?
Because obviously context is important. You got to say not racist for everything. That's how it works.
It's not. It's only racist if you mention something.
Oh, Dana, my white friend, not racist.
I got new glasses.
Yeah, that's cool. Sick job changing the subject.
Okay,
that's pretty good.
I'm actually going to talk about this though. So I had really shitty fucking glasses that were breaking apart. They were fucking broken, bent. I actually had to go get them welded to have these things straight. Because they were all fucked up.
Did you take that to like a welder or like a
yeah, like it's like an actual place. It cost me $55. I was like, whatever. Because the problem was apparently vision and dental is considered luxury and doesn't get covered by insurance. It's like $350 for me to get a pair of fucking glasses. Besides the point. So the other night I like went to lay on my bed and I accidentally laid on my glasses, and the lens came loose and like all the wiring from under it came and it basically ruined my glasses. So I went to Walmart and I was like, hey, can you fix this? Like, oh, we just have these frames on the fucking wall. We'll just charge you for the frames and just put the lenses in. And I was like, what? So I just got like paid $17 to have my glasses literally brand new.
You know that like feeling when you get new lenses and like it's so clear that you like literally get sick?
Yes, that's...
You should make a meme about that.
I didn't have new lenses. I had the same lenses. I just had
different glasses.
New frames.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shows how much I was
Because
listening.
lenses are expensive.
I was thinking of a really stupid thing that entire time when you were like, I went to Walmart. I'm like, what if you just like referred to like every employee in like a place as the corporation? Like you go up to like a customer service, like, yo, Walmart, can you help me with this?
People do that.
People like if you go to Best Buy and like the guy's like, can I help you? It's like, hey, Best Buy, I'm looking to buy a product. People do that to you?
Like,
people call you Gamers World at the counter?
Dude, people, yeah, like people walk in and like, oh, I'm a gamer. Welcome to Gamers World. Hey, what's up, Gamers World? Like people say that shit to us.
No, but like not as a joke. I'm just like, hey, Gamers World, can you help me with this? Like I just think your name is Gamers World. As you
oh no, usually it's when you made
name.
it when you first said that, I thought it was like you're being like a smart ass person.
No, I'm not. Like I just like it. Once you are under
then you're
corporate
just weird.
hours, once you're under corporate hours, you are legally that corporation. That's where
it's
we're
like
going.
My name is employee 0041B.
No, your name is Gamers World. I don't think I was supposed to say the name of your place of work.
I don't care. Come to Gamers World, Woodfield Mall, Schaumburg, Illinois, and buy shit from me.
We should just change the name of this podcast to the.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot what it was.
We should change the name of this podcast to the. No,
what are you doing?
Virtual podcast. It's all gonna be bleeped out.
A bleak?
Bleeped out. Jesus.
We're like extra like laughy tonight.
Well, I just doxed us. Really hope I edit that out.
I hate video games so much so we're Gamers World. We sell board games, card games, licensed gifts, Funko Pops, airsoft guns, trading cards, whatever. People will come in our store, intricately look at every single section, look at the puzzles, look at the board games, look at some of the Hot Wheels cards, look at some of the dominoes and chess and bullshit. Every section, spend a half hour in a store, then come to the front register and be like, do you guys have Xboxes? It's like, yes. The Xbox and Xbox video games, we've been hiding them under the counter, waiting for anybody to come up and ask. It's just like
Xbox and PlayStation should just like make their own board game, and just to subvert the issue, just to like dip their toes a little bit. Would you play the Xbox or PlayStation board game?
Neither, because that sounds fucking awful.
It doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't.
I would play the PC board game.
Okay, well, I mean, like, I just want to, like, go ahead and, like, think about for a second you saying you hate video games while running a video game podcast.
Well, I hate video games in, like, a retail sense, because motherfuckers come into my store and it's like, oh, you're called Gamers World, you don't even have any games. I'm just like, oh, you're a fucking idiot customer, fucking die.
You're called Matt, and yet you're not a Matt.
Who's Matt?
I'm just saying it's the name of the guy. He's Matt it's like a floor mat. And then there's the mat. It
Who's
makes
Matt?
sense. No, it's hypothetically this is a customer and his name is Matt. And Matt comes up to you. He's like, "Oh, you work at Gamers World? Where are your video games?" It's like, "Oh, your name's Matt. Why aren't you a Matt?" And it's talking like a floor mat or like a matte finish on like a color. So this is too intelligent for you. There's different types of mats.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
No, okay, so like someone's like, oh, hey, is this Gamers World? Where are all your video games? It's like, oh, your name's Toyota. Why aren't you a car?
What?